Somebody asks, I read up to 23% of people who play video games report symptoms of addiction, and that video individuals with ADHD and autism are at increased risk for addiction. What do you think of that? That is not, that is the causality of those statements aren't as linked as you might think. So, I see what you're saying, but just to be super clear, and I might be making a very like overly simplistic point first. It's like if you, I mean, if you start smoking, smoking's very addictive, and so smokers would report the symptoms, but then it's hard to think that they would also have more ADHD or autism, if that makes any sense. Because you're getting into proportions of the population. So, like, for instance, they surveyed 50,000 children with 150 children actually with autism. So that's, what is that, 300 children per 100,000. So that's, wow, math on stream, 3 per 1,000. So that's 0.3%. So you have to take in the fact that only 0.3% of the population has these things. So if you do something that increases your likelihood or incidence by like 10%, or say even 100%, so you have a 200% risk compared to normal people to have autism, you still only have I'm so sorry that my radio is, it's so needy. Okay, radio, okay. My point is, then you're at 100, 1 in 1,000, and with a doubling of that, you're only at 2 in 1,000. So you still likely don't have it. So that's the first point. I just wanted to point that out. You're talking about probabilities of population statistics. I mean, I don't know how interesting that is. I do think it's interesting though, because you're still saying that, you're making an interesting point that people with ADHD and autism are at increased risk for addiction. To what extent should we be exposing them to video games when, as you say, I don't know the particular study that you're reporting, but it sounds right. I don't know. A quarter of people report symptoms of addiction. Yeah, it's really interesting because especially as the FDA this year is approving video games as treatment for ADHD, and might do so for autism eventually. And so I've read those reports. They didn't even survey for symptoms of addiction. So I think that's something that they're going to have to deal with in the next few years. Because if the treatment is addiction. So I mean, in practical terms, if you have like an autistic or ADHD child, I think you should watch their time on these devices. I actually I had autism in my family. I have a person with autism in my family, but I don't think it's healthy for them just to be on an electronic device. It can be convenient, but you really need to pull them out of their world and try to interact with them. So, not to say they shouldn't have any of it. You just have to have it in a way where they understand that they're going to have a very scheduled, structured time on it. So, I don't know. It's very interesting.